Greetings, this is part 2 of the righteousness produced by the Word. It's a sectional and verse-by-verse study. So we begin today with verse 137. Righteous art thou, O Lord, and upright are thy judgments. The word translated righteousness here is used 179 times in the Old Testament. And it refers to a man's character as being just, lawful, or righteous. Its first use is in the book of Genesis, chapter 6, and verse 9, where it says, "These are the generations of Noah. Noah was a just, a righteous man, and perfect in his generations, and Noah walked with God." This is the adjective form of the word, and it appears only this one time in Psalm 119, emphasizing a personal characteristic. We will see the noun form also, as well as another adjective form. In Psalm 1 verse 5, it says, "Therefore the ungodly shall not stand in the judgment, nor sinners in the congregation of the righteous." Verse 6 continues, "For the Lord knoweth the way of the righteous, but the way of the ungodly shall perish." Again in the 55th Psalm in verse 22, "Cast thy burden upon the Lord, and he shall sustain thee. He shall never suffer the righteous to be moved." The main redemptive name of God, Jehovah, is used here in a direct address. God is described in the first part of this verse, and his conduct is described in the second part of the verse. Then the word upright has a basic meaning of straight, just, right, upright, etc. This is also an adjective emphasizing the conduct equaling the character of God. This word translated upright here is used in 119 times in the Old Testament, but only this one time in Psalm 119. It first appears in Exodus 15 and verse 26 as part of the Psalm of Moses, where it says, "And said, if thou wilt diligently hearken to the voice of the Lord thy God, and will do that which is right in his sight, and will give ear to his statutes, and keep all his statutes, I will put none of these diseases upon thee, which I have brought upon the Egyptians, for I am the Lord that healeth thee." And that's a translation of one of the 7 primary compound names, Jehovah Rophe. In Deuteronomy 32:4, it contains both these words. It says, "He is our rock, his work is perfect, for all his ways are judgment. A God of truth and without iniquity, just and right is he." By contrast, Judges 21:25 says, "In those days there was no king in Israel. Every man did that which was right in his own eyes." And I suggest that is a biblical definition of anarchy. And that pretty much describes the society in which we live, wanting to avoid all accountability to any authority and every man doing what he thinks is right. This word that is employed to describe every king who reigned over Israel, Judah, as having done or not having done, quote, "that which was right in the sight of the Lord. And I submit the judgment of every man will be in like manner when they stand before God." Psalm 33:4 says, "For the word of the Lord is right, and all his works are done in truth." That brings us to Psalm 119 and 138. "Thy testimonies hast thou commanded, are righteousness and very faithful." The word testimonies again is one of the 10 synonyms which David uses for God's word, and the word commanded is the regular word used 475 times in the Old Testament. The word righteousness, again, is the adjective form emphasizing the actions which are just, right, or righteous. The word faithful means truthfulness, faithfulness, stableness, and security. And the word very indicates the superlative degree. The testimonies which God has commanded us are righteous actions and superlatively faithful actions. God requires us to be like Him. Every thought, every word which does not meet the standard of God's action is classified as sin according to God's word. And we must deal with God someday concerning each and every one of these violations.